It's life. There's always something going on. Um, so we just keep pushing forward. That being said, I know in the last one I to finish up where I was going with what the Lord has next, and I'm excited. I truly am. I've been praying on it for a long time to see if this truly, I'm not testing the spirit, but I want to make sure from the spirit. I want to make sure that this is exactly what the Lord has for me next, and I'm still at that point that it's just time to go and just time to do it and surrender all to Him. That's what's amazing part about all this is giving Him the glory through all this. So that being said, I not this obviously not tomorrow being tomorrow's I think first, no, the last day of the month. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. But anyways, I don't know about this coming weekend coming. I have to give you the dates. I don't even got a calendar right here, but I'm going to be basically opening this ministry up, and the Lord gave me the name of it, and I'm just going to go from there. I haven't decided if I'm going to open a whole new channel up or continue on this channel here. I think I'm just going to probably. I'll see how difficult it gets going in there. But I think it's a time that I'm just ready. I guess I think the Lord finally prepared me enough to just go all out with it and not have to worry what the world thinks. I never have worried about that, so don't get me wrong there. But uh, I believe it's well needed. I believe it's well needed because of the these pastors of some of these churches. It just amazes me. I just sat with one Tuesday and I couldn't believe it. It's like not even really questioning the fact that why did I go to so many churches, even in the fact where I said, listen, I'm not disrespectful to anybody, and I'm not breaking this guy down. He has his beliefs, I have my beliefs, but when Jesus tells me to move, I'm moving. When Jesus tells me to do, I'm doing. When Jesus told me to get out of that truck in 2014 and go to Florida, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, he'd have me a job. Well, I broke that time and I went back to work because I panicked because bills were coming, getting ready to come due, and we done maxed out every dollar we had. And Darlene's youngest daughter and her husband, and well, the granddaughter really didn't matter because she was still a newborn. But we're taking care of all this, and and I believe that's where pain comes in. Because you took in that child, and I always thought of her as my own. And when somebody turns on you, it hurts. Like there's a guy, I've been selling off a lot of Star Wars stuff to him and stuff, and so I built like a trust thing with him. I said, here, take this, just a little bit extra. It'll show me who you are as a person, and you can see how I'm trusting you to bring me the payments. And never showed up yesterday. He didn't show up Thursday, and basically $60. And $60 is $60. I mean, it's not going to make or break me. But and then turn around and shows me a video with all these hundreds. I don't really care about your money. This has nothing to do with the money. It had to do with your credibility as a man. It had to be with your whole story of wanting the second chance in life and all this stuff. Satan, you're clever, but you're not clever enough. Because the whole time, I even told him what happened with a guy coming over here from another child knew him from work and what he did to me. See, just because I'm going through a lot of mental and physical problems right now, doesn't mean that I'm still not sharp. Doesn't mean that I'm still not ahead of the system and that footstep ahead of Satan. To know Satan, you had to walk with him, I guess, and you got opportunities to know Satan and not have to walk with him. You got an opportunity. Some of you are walking with him that you can walk away from him. See, the devil's using every trick and scheme right now, people. He's trying to convince you of something. You got to watch. Even if you don't have that thought in your mind, you can say, well, I don't think like that. I trust you and all these things. No, 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 no. He'll start bringing events back in your life When you ask for repentance and you are washed, that means everything's washed. If you hold something against someone because my friend done this to me or my children's done this to me, if you're holding that kind of stuff, or your ex or your current person you're with, you're holding that, you now are in that category of God rejudging you because you're still judging these people. Or you're judging someone that can end up, it can flow into that. It can flow into the person you're with and cause that separation. See, that's what Satan wants. Satan wants, he came after your children. He's going to come after your grandchildren. As long as God tarries, this is what you got to expect. But if we keep taking the back seat and we get all the way to the back of the bus, well, Nelson, you don't say that. Well, why? Because we're all prisoners. We're all slaves to this world. If you think we're not, just look at our government. Look at all this unfair stuff that went on. Look at all this stimulus that people are still, I'm still seeing these stupid stimulus commercials. I just want to vomit every time I see them. I look at it and I'm grateful that the waitresses and waiters that are getting tips and anybody getting tips, that they don't have to be taxed on it. That money's coming from somewhere, people. It's gonna, they're gonna make up that money taxes somewhere. My understanding Donald Trump was supposed to go after the IRS and stuff, and I haven't heard really nothing about it. I mean, am I coming against Donald Trump? No. Am I coming against mankind in general? No. But what I'm saying is, you have to relax and breathe. Hold on a second. Let me see who this is. I don't know. But anyways, you have to relax and breathe, okay? We are very curious people. It's like that mouse running in a trap. I told you guys the whole thing about how do you catch mice when you got an infestation. You just start putting cheese blocks down. Okay, you say, well, that's stupid. I'm not feeding a bunch of mice. Well, you're already feeding them. You're already frustrated. Just hear me out. So when you put the cheese blocks down, you get up the next morning, they're gone. No surprise. You do it again. You do it again. You do it again, and you do it again. And finally, you get the traps out. You don't set them. You put the cheese blocks on the trap and get them used to it. Do that for a couple days, then put the cheese on there, set that trap, and I guarantee you're going to wake up with a bunch of dead mice in your traps. See, it's the same thing what Satan does with us. It's the same thing. And when we go into this area in life, when we start judgmental things, or we're starting assuming things in our head, and we falsely accuse somebody, people, I've had my name dragged through the mud so much in the last 6 years. It's bizarre. I mean, really bizarre. And that's been a lot of my prayer and talking to these pastors and, trying to stop this, trying to help this youth when their families are failing, trying to get in there. And this is what I was told, which blew my mind, because one of the persons that go there used to be on this YouTube channel and knows me very well. She truly knows me very well. And not in any other kind of way, but a friend-to-friend relationship. The Lord told me to start specifying on things, start using my voice in more detail, because first of all, I never want to make anybody uncomfortable. I've been there myself, and I sure don't want to be there. Or I don't want to plant seeds that may or may not be, like the time when I say, I don't know. If I'm stuck here, I'm stuck here. I don't know who the person is, but I got a feeling I'm getting closer and closer, because last night I was able to see the side of her face. And it's amazing, because I don't know who this person is. I don't even care what the purpose is. But I notice the closer it gets to something doing for God, the more details I get. That's it. There's nothing more to it, nothing there. I'm just glad that I'm going to have somebody. If this comes true, God may change it. I don't know. Maybe God's just testing me to see if I'm going to be obedient. Maybe this was the test to see if I'm going to lead that flock to where he asked me to go. Maybe it's time to see, like Jesus says, my sheep are the ones that my father's given me. Now, as a pastor, I don't even really think of as pastor. I don't think of as teacher. The only good teacher we have is Jesus Christ. The only true father I call father is God in heaven. Never called my dad father, except one time, and every other time it's been dad. I never felt comfortable calling him that. I didn't know why. I just never did. Doesn't mean to right or wrong. But today I can see why. Because out of the respect for my Father in heaven, he's the only Father I have. He's the true Father that I've had. My earthly father may disappoint me, the world may disappoint me, but he will never let me down, and Jesus will never let me down. It's up to you to accept. It's up to you to walk into the light. It's up to you to repent of yourselves. I can't make you repent. And just like I said, all these years of doing these videos, I sat last night with the Lord and I said, Lord, I'm starting to see the testing of the spirits. I'm starting to see how you led things into there. And I brought it up a couple videos back. It might have been on the last one or the one before that. I threw the offer out there, and the more I thought about it, it's like that was out of my, or being out of not normal for me to offer. Hey, if I'm in your area, let me know. Give me your church, and I'll swing by there. And like I said, to my surprise, now that I thought about it, not one person. Not one person. I don't get it. I truly don't get it. Am I expecting you guys to follow me from this to the next? No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I believe the last part of these last few videos, not answering comments, not going down different avenues, and it kind of throws that red flag up to me. And I've said it before in these videos: is these people only on here because they want me to comment, or is it the fact of whatever? I can run speculation through my head all day long, people, but I don't do that because it's false. I know when something piques someone's attention, and when I'm convicting someone, or because the crazy cool thing about YouTube up changing some of their stuff, you can go on that peak and see the peak. As you can see, I've been having a pen in the last few videos. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but I've been marking down the time frame and where I'm at, and the minutes on there, and I marked down the flag this particular time, because I'm just curious. I remember what I'm talking about. Sometimes I got to go back and listen to that part of the video myself again to see. And I believe a lot of it's conviction. I believe a lot of it is, I don't know, maybe you guys are just tired of listening to it, but the next journey of this to me, is powerful, and I'm looking forward to it. And am I ever going to change who I am? No. Am I not going to bring daily life into the Bible? No. Am I going to bring the Bible into daily life? Yes. I absolutely am. And that's who I am. From the I am, under the I am, by the I am. I ask him every day to mold and sculpt me. I ask him every day to change me. I ask him every day to make me the man that he has created me to be. And last night I realized I am that person. I am that rawness. I am that in your face with it. And I'm not fearful what man can do. I could die tomorrow. I can die today. I can pass out today and fall down, and that's it. Praise be to God. Is these visions just vision? I don't know. They're awful dang gone real. I mean, for dreams, visions, I've always said I can touch stuff. I can touch stuff. And I've had people tell me that I'm crazy and all this, and that's not possible. It's not even biblical. I don't care what is biblical to you. Look at the Bible. If what I'm saying matches that Bible. And the weird thing about this, let me get back to what was told to me, and this is what bothered me. Not the fact that he questioned how many churches I've been to. Didn't ask me why this and this and this, or how long. Never asked me how long. He just looked at the number. Well, the New Testament says that you should be deeply rooted into one. I'm not going to deeply root into nothing. Jesus went out into the world and preached. I don't need your building. I don't need fame and money. I sure am not getting no fame and money off of this channel. If I did it for that, I would have quit a long time ago. If I did it for that, I would have stopped doing this when all the attacks came at me. When a few videos back, when that person's on there putting all this slang stuff on there, nobody knew what it was. I finally said, I've had enough. I'm rebuking the devil. Rebuke it. This is how you do it. This is how you do it in your life. This is how I do it in my life. I don't care if it's my children. Nelson, that's harsh. No, it's not. My family is those who do the will of my Father in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on this earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one's tricks, scheme, plots, power that he thinks he has. I can go down the list, man, because when I get to that part, oh, I'm casting it at. I'm just pulling arrow after arrow, and I'm just lighting them suckers on fire and just right back at him. But I'm putting a little bit extra on that. I'm putting a cable of kryptonite around it, and I'm wrapping him and sending him back where he belongs. Them demons, I'm sending them back where they belong. I will cast you out of my life. You failed. See, that's the knowledge I have for living in the demonic realm. That's the knowledge that I come with this spiritual warfare that we don't teach. Even if we did, I probably wouldn't go because I know it's going to turn into an argument. And I'm not about to argue God with anybody. It might sound like it to you guys. I agree. But you always got to see where I'm going with it. There's been so much judgmental things here, so much hypocritical stuff. I tend to wonder, backsliding after backsliding after backsliding, and then I get these comments like, you said, and I'm trying to help you. I can lead you to the water, my friends, but I can't make you drink it. Okay? If this week of September, if everybody's right, you're not going to make it. You're going to be left here, and you're going to be one of the ones in line first to take that chip, and you're going to surrender your soul and your spirit in your flesh to Satan, which then leads you to Lucifer. And let me tell you right now, when the risen starts happening, a lot of you are going to be swept off into hell because they don't need you. They don't need you no more because it's the non-believers and these fake believers that are the ones going to be here. The fake believers are probably most likely going to try to bolt and go hide like Adam and Eve. Oh, don't talk about Adam and Eve. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about sin. If I had accountability, if I had some kind of person that was going to give credit and stand on my witness, I'm thinking in my head going, well, stop right there. Because you do have a person that goes to your church that has heard these YouTubers. Then you can go on and watch my hell testimony, and then you can show the credibility to that against what I did on Randy K. Nothing has changed. So you might want to retract your statement there. You won't let me come and preach until you get to know me. There's no pastor going to open up their pulpit to just, let me tell you what. I told a pastor once, he told me the same thing. That he was the fourth pastor that told me that. And when I told him, I said, are you protecting them from me, as you say, or from yourself, from the truth? Because I know about you. I know what you're doing. I'm trying to tell you to stop before you fall into sin. You're going to embezzle money out of this church, and it's going to come in. You could go to prison for this. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't you tell me I'm the pastor of the church, right? See, this is why I'm protecting you from the flock. No. You're protecting yourself because you don't want them to know what you're doing, my friend. That's what it is. Sure enough, he got caught. He took off everything. He sold off one of the buses to the other church I was going to. Sold the bus off to them. Went and bought this luxury RV looking thing. Bye-bye. Made it all like he was putting it off into his daycare program. God have mercy on you. God have mercy on you. Just like that guy that ripped me off. And then you're going to stand there with all them $100 bills. And I'm just laughing because let me tell you right now, all you showed Satan is, here it is, money, money, money. You can buy my soul. Satan's already bought most of your guys' souls and you don't even realize it. You're on your pathway walking into hell and you don't realize it because you want what this world has. You can have it all. Just give me Jesus. When you can honestly say that and be confident in that, see, it's the fact do I love someone or don't love someone? Do I think about someone or don't think about someone? Let me tell you what. Love is love. But I have my heart love for God and Jesus above anything else on this earth. And you can ask Darlene, and I'm sure she'll tell you. You probably won't even get the sentence out, and she would tell you, my heart and my love is for God and Jesus above all things. Above all things. Now, I could be a jealous type person and go, well, that sucks because, we've seen movies on it. You're in love with an imaginary person and you expect me to be okay with that. Even still, this is supposed to be a man and you expect me to be okay with that. I would hope you would be okay with it. I would hope you would be ecstatic for it. Well, they can have that kind of love. I can go have it. Okay, let's stop. Let's hold up for a second. Because here's why we're holding up for a second. You just fell into Satan's trap. He's going to lead you down these rabbit holes that you don't want to go down. Somebody says, could you possibly forgive everything? Well, break down everything to me, because I mean, everything, yes. Okay, let's just, if we're going to just use one word, everything, that's a lot. But yes, everything I will forgive. Someone come up and smack me in the face, I'd forgive you. Someone come up and stole everything out of this house, I'd forgive you. Matter of fact, if you were coming in, if I come home and you were stealing and you had your truck back up, I'd probably help you load it up. You may say, well, why, Nelson? Well, why are they stealing? They could have come up and asked me. Jesus says, for those comes and asks for your shirt, give them your cloak too. I'm thinking coat, basically, at that point. It's so hard for us to give a good gift, isn't it? Or are you one of those that gives a really good gift and expect, wow, you're going to get something spectacular because you built this thing up and you even kind of told them what it was. Giving them that heads up, I just don't understand it. If our heart is not in the right place, then why do it? If your heart is not in the right area in life, then you need to go fix it. And I'm not saying, I'm not God. We all know the whole divorce thing, and we all know breaking up and splitting up. What I never could figure that out at first. And the only thing I can grasp out of it all is how some of your children get flipped around in circles. I mean, it's just unbelievable, what a child would go through. And I think about Darlene's youngest child, how their daughter would come against her now ex-husband, and how he was boastful and all the stuff that he did made her be seen and all this and blah, 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 how he raised her and all this. And I'm not bashing anybody, but I'm just saying all the things she complained about, she's doing to her daughter herself. I can't wrap my brain around that kind of nonsense, and it is totally nonsense to me. It is beyond ridiculous. We have to uphold God's ways over all things. You can't let some stream become a river. That river become the ocean become a tidal wave, because that's where Satan drowns you. That's where he gives you no hope. That's where that water comes flushing in to destroy you. I'm just saying, it's true. So we have to be very cautious. We have to be careful of the stones that we walk on. We have to be careful on the foundation. We got to examine our foundations every day, make sure there's no cracks. What I'm meaning by that is your mind. Make sure there's no in or outs. Make sure that everything is being done in the righteous. Otherwise, we're on a deadbeat path to nowhere. And when I mean nowhere, your soul is dying as you're walking into hell. You can't expect God to do everything. God created us to go out into this world to preach, to speak of his son. I've been putting it off because, and to be truthful, because a lot of it, I didn't want to hear what anybody had to say. I didn't want to start and listen to the crap, basically, from everybody. Oh, listen to this guy. He's talking about going and preaching and stuff, and he says crap. Doesn't matter. What about your own thoughts? What about that pastor's thought that sat with me and tore me down in every direction on Tuesday? I wonder if that pastor realized if I would have walked away from Christianity that day, he would have been held responsible for what he's done to me. That's a hell of a shepherd right there, isn't it? Don't tell me about the staff. Don't tell me about one that you hook them back in and the other one you slay down the wolf. Buddy, I know the wolves. I ran with that pack and I wanted to be higher than that pack. I sat with the highest warlocks to sit there to learn so I can beat the pack. See why Satan doesn't want me against him? I brought more people into the satanic realm than you could share to even listen to or to even hear. That's why I say in these videos, I'm going to work harder. Every breath I got left, I'm going to work that much harder. That being said, I finally had enough with the lawyers, called them back, got to talk to somebody yesterday at 10:30, and praise be to God, all glory. I go the 4th. I'm not thrilled about it because it. And again, I go on my own understanding of things, but I go see a doctor that basically isn't going to be able to do anything but examine me and then ask for tests to be done. So at least we're getting, hopefully, or they're going to see that Walmart's going to disapprove of these again and not accept it and won't let it be done. Or maybe Walmart will let it be done just so they can see if anything's changed or if it's still the same or gotten worse. If it's still the same, which it is, it could have gotten worse? Yes. If it's gotten worse, then good. Because I'm not a big thing of suing people. I'm not a big thing. But when you put me through what I've been through in the last few months, going on a year of this nonsense, I've just had enough. It's not even about the money. I just had enough of it. I just want, not that vengeance. I want something to be done to where they don't do this to nobody else, if that makes sense. Because I don't have no stripe or vengeance against anybody. I could have simply bashed that guy down, that what he did, over $60. That would have been the old me. I know his address. I know the area he's on. It wouldn't take long. I know what he looks like. Oh, I would have been that guy, just walk right down the street to you. That's stupid. See, that's the old me. And see, this is the things that when you get these people that throw your past up in there, who are you to throw a past up in anywhere? Be careful how you throw them rocks. Remember, this is what I'm going to leave you on. Remember, before you start throwing stones, you're standing in a glass house. There may be buckets of stones next to you because Satan prepares you for the battle. But what you don't realize is after you broke all that glass and you got that piece of glass hanging over you like this, and all of a sudden you hear this, and you look up. But I bet you when you seen that glass swinging, I bet you were going, Lord, please forgive me of my sins. For I know not what I was doing. I did know what I'm doing. I'm a liar. I'm even lying to you now, Lord, but please forgive me. Let me tell you some of my sins. Do you really think you're going to go through all that? No, because when you look up and that thing just falls, that split moment, you don't even get time to move. It's called the Newton's Law. Gravity. Here we go. That's how fast things have been going. God said that the world is going to see darkness. It's going to come. He just gave me a verse yesterday and today speaking of the same thing. It's up to you to grasp a hold of your life. It's up to you. You can't blame it on anybody else in your life. You can't blame your children. You can't blame your friends. You can't blame your spouse. You can't blame nobody but yourself. You have to take responsibility for what you're doing. Is this channel for everybody? No. Who God is going to reach out to down the line here? I don't know. But I have my thoughts. I remember when the Lord told me a couple years back, I don't really remember the time frame of it, but I remember him saying, look, I'm about to take these somebodies out of the churches, and I'm about to put the nobodies, because the nobodies is who they're going to listen to. See, these pastors want this glamorous thing. And my thing is, I can go down a list of wrongs that comes out of, well, I'm not even going to go in there right now, but today's the day that we need to change our thoughts. Today's the day we need to get a hold and see if you're having bad thoughts, or you're having thoughts that or you take something other. Whatever happened to, I do appreciate some of you on here when you would ask me, hey Nelson, even if it was an email. What exactly did you mean by that? Because I write back, well, how'd you take it? If that's how you took it without even asking me, I question you. I question your thoughts. I question your mind. I question all that. See, I got to, some of the comments, you're like, well, why are you not answering the comments? Because Jesus told me not to right now. Maybe Jesus is testing you. Maybe Jesus is going to see if you're going to be the ones that flow over. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're going to go find another channel that pleases the soothing of your ears. I don't know. It's not up to me to know. All I know is I don't even look at the numbers. I don't look at the comments down there. I don't look at the numbers up above. The only thing I do is when I mark something, I go back and I see where was the peaks. What grabbed people's attentions. But I know one thing. When I have convinced this is true because I've seen it. I mentioned health every time I bring up my health, and I do it. First of all, to give an update because some people are curious, and I thank you for that. I thank you as a brother in Christ. I don't see myself as a pastor. I don't see myself as a preacher. I don't see myself as anything but just a man in the wilderness saying, make way for the Lord. Oh, no. Yeah, John the Baptist. See, I was dirty. I was disgusting. Nobody wanted to be around me. I can imagine I never had to wear camel fur. Never had to wear fig leaves. I mean, whatever. Let's just throw it out there. When did we become so popular? I don't want to do that because I don't want to tarnish my reputation. What reputation do you have? What legacy do you have? If I go tomorrow, then the legacy that I want is called Jesus. I want people to see what he has done. I want them to see how do you justify not having testimonies? Because we don't want to do testimonies. Why? Because you don't want God to give credit? We are supposed to be giving him the glory. Just the fact that I've lived through all the stuff I've lived through, how in the world do you say that I need credibility? Or it could be months from now, years from now, and I still might not let you on the pulpit. You know why? Because I believe somewhere in you, and he could be right here in front of me right now, and I would tell him, are you afraid that I'm going to piper and speak and people are going to want to hear me and not you? I'm beginning to think this is the case, and I'm not bogus. I'm not being boastful. I'm not being bragging on myself or anything else. But I will say this: I have confidence. I have confidence people listening to this because I make sense. I have confidence that you don't hear this in everyday churches. I have confidence that I'll throw everything at it. I have confidence that I'm confessing the things that I've done in my life that most pastors would be afraid to even speak of because they want to be seen in this holy, glorifying light. I got confidence that I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, today I just baptized 16 people. But where's the discipleship class? Do you have one there? No. No, you don't. Useless. Because we know what happened. As soon as Jesus was filled with the Father's Spirit and he says, well done, for this is my beloved Son, what happened? He went into the wilderness. Why did he go out to the wilderness? Why would God have to tempt him? I believe he had to go out there so he had to know every sin. Because we think about it, Jesus up here doesn't mean, I'm not saying Jesus didn't know what sin is. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying for him to understand it, I believe he had to be filled with it. He had to see it, hand and fist. What we were going to go through, the temptations of life, what we were going to have to try to fight our way through. Luckily, he sent us the helpmate of the Spirit of him and the Father. See, that's the other reason why I believe that God poured his Spirit into Jesus. Not that he had to. Jesus was perfect. Jesus was right next to him. Otherwise, you go to Genesis, you might as well tear the page out. Let's make man in our image. Then it goes on to say, I made man in my image, Father talking. He made Jesus in him. Jesus said, if you have seen me, you have seen my Father. I am him and he is of me. Basically saying I look just like him. Every time I brought up something, I was told I'm stretching. No, that's beyond stretching. I would hear. My word was, let's agree to disagree. I'm not here to debate the Bible with you. Because we look at education. We look at what someone's capable of doing. I know every time I got in the ring, fear was my friend. Fear. Because when I stop fearing, I lose. When I start putting God in that box behind me, and I start building my temple above God's, well, I got to get above Lucifer now because Lucifer's trying to get there. When that starts happening, what have you gained? Nothing. You are getting God nothing, but you're taking all glory to yourself. And when you're going into an avenue in life, the Lord told me it is a hard place to get out of. Because you become that hypocritical person. You become that judgmental person. You become that accuser. And look what happened to him. Satan comes to accuse us. Satan comes to destroy us. When you're ripping down one of God's people, you better watch out. You better have physical proof. Because I know sometimes I get my voice raises up and my face might looks a certain way or my actions or whatever. I can't help it, people. And I'm not trying to offend anybody, but to be honest, I'm above and beyond caring what somebody thinks about the way my facial expression goes or how my compassion goes. You don't know if it's a happy thing or a bad thing, the things I get excited about. But I also know spiritual warfare, and I know when something don't feel right, I'm quick to pray for it. Makes me wrong or right? I would hope you'd be on the same page. But instead, it's like you have to go to detention or summer school, and you're miserable all the way through it. Half of you ain't paying attention. Half of you if you would have paid attention in school, you wouldn't have to go to summer school. Are you with me? If you would have paid attention throughout the videos you watch, your life should be changing. It's not a coincidence you fall into certain videos that grabs your attention. But why? Why does it grab your attention? Is it the words? Is it the knowledge? Is it the wisdom? Is it helping you change your life? Or is it whatever floats around in the clouds? You know, that cloud storage? It amazes me to watch so many people fail. It amazes me watching family fail. It amazes me to watch the same things repeat, and repeat. The only difference is it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And you don't even realize how worse it's getting. You don't even realize how bad your life is sinking. See, quicksand you don't sink quick in quicksand. You don't start sinking until you move. The more movement you got, the quicker you start sinking. It's crazy. They should call it slow sand then. It's amazing. I thought that was the craziest thing ever. When I actually researched that, I said, is that actually true? And I looked it up one night, and sure enough, it is true. It's as true as you're going to get. A little bizarre, isn't it? I think so. And why do they call it quicksand? But it's kind of like being stuck, isn't it? You ever get stuck in your car in the wintertime, and you're just spinning the tires? You're getting frustrated, more frustrated and frustrated. Then you're cursing or you're throwing stuff or you're just asking God why. Here we go again. God, why? God, why? Why? Well, why are we not following the rules of the Bible? Why are we not set on God's ways like we should be? Does it mean we're still not going to have trials and tribulations or deaths or sadness or happy times or why does this happen to this person? I told you guys videos back. The Lord is going to bless his people, and they're going to be glorified in front of man, and they're going to ask, why is this person being blessed like this? I believe, but I'm not being... The sinners aren't going to see it. The sinners may see the fact if it's a money pour out, then they're going to see that because they're going to want to be in your life. You know, that random hand shaking your hand, but as soon as you can't give, they're reaching for that door. Well, I got to go. See ya. Because you're only important to them for what they can receive. Satan is clever at what he does. He's clever to control your mind if you let him. Well, Nelson, I'm a Christian. Now stop right there, because that's not true. You see what I'm doing to you right now? I'm pointing the finger at you. I'm pointing the finger at myself because I can't see you, but I can see this. Everybody has a story. I agree with that. When was the last time you seriously been in a church and listened to a God deliverance testimony? I don't know of any. I don't know of any. But what kills me is when you hear that somebody delivered a testimony on New Year's Eve, because the difference, what I'm gathering is that I claim I seen hell and I claim I seen heaven. And a couple days after I said this, about a week, the next, because it was on a Sunday when I was asking to do the testimony in the church I'm in. A week later, a certain person comes up to us and goes, "You know that song? I Can Only Imagine, where it says, I can only imagine what will it be like." Well, no man has ever seen heaven. Show me in the scripture where that says. It says no man has ever seen the Father. I cannot find a scripture anywhere in it says, but no man has never seen heaven. I might be wrong, but I'll Google it again. And if I am wrong, I'll stand corrected on it, and I will apologize. I'm not trying to mislead anybody or anything else. But I asked another pastor, and he says, as far as he knows, that's not in there. And this man studies. I mean, he says, well, I'll look in the Greek, and I'll look in some other book or something. And he says, I'll just see what happens. Okay, go see what happens. I haven't heard back from him. It's not a big deal. But if I'm wrong, I sure want to correct you. I want to correct it, and I want to correct myself, and because I don't want somebody to be misled on something. But either way, how's all these near-death experiences? So everybody's making this up. But nobody can see the kingdom, but we can see a donkey speak. We can see a fish come out of a coin come out of a fish's mouth. We can see Jonah swallowed up in a great big whale. Okay, well, let's think about that. I mean, you're in this whale's stomach where all this acid and all this stuff is. How did he live through all that for 3 days? I believe it was 3 days, and the whale come up on by the shore and spit him out. I mean, does anybody really sit and think about how far-fetched that could be compared to someone saying that I've seen something that could be heaven? I told you the streets look like the purest honey I've ever seen. And the only way I can describe it, it looks like it's in plexiglass. That's how pure this is. Is there plexiglass there? No, I believe it's pure gold that we're walking on. I believe the whole street is nothing but gold. The best of the best. The stuff that we worship here, God lets us walk on there. The stuff that you try to get in your power, you have it in heaven. I shall pour out the gifts here on earth as it will be in heaven over you. Everything God pours out here, if you give him the glory, he pours it out here, you get it in there. I'm telling you right now, I've never got to walk on any gold streets down here. But I'm counting my blessings. Now, there's no gold streets in the garden. Beautiful meadows, trees, flowers, animals, butterflies, mosquitoes, bats, tarantulas, T-Rexes, apes, giraffes, elephants, boars, crocodiles, Godzilla, Bigfoot. That's why Bigfoot's extinct. You can't find him because Bigfoot's up there. What, you don't believe me? Why don't you believe me? Because it doesn't make sense, does it? When you're convinced with someone, you can convince somebody. But when you know something isn't right, that's your discernment. Hopefully some of you could even be laughing, going, yep, that's why I watch the show. Because I get to learn, I get to learn God in a different way. I get to see Jesus in a different light. I get to see Jesus being comical. I get to see Jesus. You don't say that. Jesus is firm with the fist. If he was firm with the fist, we'd all be in hell, people. Jesus shall rule all nations. What does that mean? He's up in heaven. When the new kingdom is, now picture this earth, okay? Picture the earth, okay? We're here, all these countries. When the new kingdom is lowered down with his people, the final 7-year tribulation, when the battle of Armageddon is coming to an end. Think about this. Everybody thinks we're going to come down and swoop down. We're going to fight this good fight. No, 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 no. It's pushing all the buildings. Everything will crumble. Everything will become dust. And everything will leave, and the new beauty will come back into the shell. Isn't that amazing? But then you got to put that ring. Picture this. Okay? The new earth. The new kingdom. The earth. Then you got to put that ring around that. From here all the way as far back as I can go. A fire. And you see this? When you're walking this way and you fall, that's how deep that fire is. You really think you're going to tromp through all that? No. We get a little blister. We get a little burn and we're screaming because it hurts. We see what we want to see. We hear what we want to hear. We watch life. And we get bored quickly. I don't know how people get bored with the learning of God and Jesus. I still, it blows my mind today. I think it's the most interesting thing in the world. To the things that I get to learn about Him and the things that I get to learn about the Father and what heaven truly is like. I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting on how we failed God in many ways. I think it's interesting how we don't seek God in the kingdom above all things. I can't even get out of that bed without asking God to help me. In more ways than one these days, but I'm just saying. You got to help me today. You got to help me get through this. You got to give me the strength to get through this. Just saying. Without putting on that body armor every day. And even if I'm not around Darlene and I'm praying, I pray for that armor to be over here. I pray for the house to be protected. I pray for that car that she leaves in to be protected. I pray that she receives God's favor today. I pray that the gifts be poured out here on earth as it will be in heaven over her. I pray that she finds peace in this day. I pray that she finds forgiveness in this day. Mainly, maybe she needs forgiveness from me. Maybe my actions sometimes, or the way I look, or like the other day, I was in so much pain, and I'm snappy, and it's not. There's no excuse for it, but I got to keep telling her, look, this ain't me right now. This is the wore out me. This is what I'm fighting. I'm fighting hard not to slide down that slide to hell. Because I know once they get a hold of me this time, that's it. You may say, Nelson, isn't that putting God in the box? No, you don't understand. If you knew what you were toying around with, you wouldn't do it. Okay? I've always said, God, I cannot blame God for me walking towards hell. It's not God's fault. It's my fault. He gave me every avenue I need to walk away from. He gave me every open door when sin approaches to walk away from it. He gave me every chance when thoughts enter my head to rebuke them. But people hold you by your word. People assume they know what you're talking about. People assume that they are always right. The only person I know that's right is Jesus Christ. I had a person tell me once that they have never told a lie. I said, now that's a lie right there. What do you mean? Never even like a little stretch of white lie. What if I walked up to there and said, hey, how do I look today? And you're looking at my outfit and you're thinking, boy, that outfit does not look good on you. Well, Nelson, I think you look very handsome today. I think man, this shirt right there, there's another lie. Because you started off saying, I think you look very good, but that shirt doesn't go together. Okay. But maybe I like this orange and this whatever color, white. You know, I've been toying the fact my youngest daughter is getting married, and the fact I was kind of upset that she asked people before me, and she said, "Well, the only reason why I did that, Dad, because we were having another one of our spats. We're having another one of our spats because it's always my fault. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm the worst dad in the world. That's what I hear. Maybe I'm just the worst person in the world. That's what I hear. Maybe I'll never amount to nothing. That's what I hear. Well, I should say that's what I heard. You know, uh, Maybe I should learn to pronounce words right. I've been trying. I haven't quit. I don't give up. Maybe we should just stop looking at somebody's flaws, or maybe we should start thanking God for the flaws. What does that mean? I'm glad you asked. Because when you start understanding somebody else's flaws and you understand why they are the way they are, you wouldn't be so judgmental. You wouldn't be so quick to judge someone on that throne that you don't have no rights to sit on. But yet people judge people all day long. When you go to court, you got to prove you're innocent. You're already guilty. When you walk in there, you got to prove you're innocent. Maybe you really didn't have nothing to do with it, but maybe you knew about it, and maybe you kept the evidence. And when they found out that you were driving the car that just carried the mass murderer that shot up the whole dang entire world, and you knew you didn't do nothing about it, yeah, you're just as guilty. I'm sorry. You might as well went in there and pulled the trigger too, because you didn't try to stop it. When that clown got out of your vehicle, walked in there, you should have been on the phone with 911. Hey, listen, this is where I'm at. Please send somebody help because this guy's about to shoot up this place, and I don't want him to come out and shoot me. I drove him here. I didn't know what he was doing. He had the stuff in bag. As soon as I seen the guns come out, I'm calling you. He's away from me. I'm driving off. This is my license plate number. This is my car. This is where I live. This is where I'm heading. I'm not heading home, but I'm heading to this place. Now you're not guilty. You did everything right. I'm getting out of here because I don't want this guy to come back and try to get in my car or kill me. I would be the opposite. Kill me. Please pull the trigger. Send me home. Send me, send me, send me. You may say, well, it's a little much. No, not really. My glasses broke. I was wondering why this looks so funny. I think the screw came out of it. Yeah, it's right there. I think the little nut came out at the bottom. Well, that's great. I don't care. It's man-made, people. See, I can do this. Look at that. Perfect. Let me see the time. I got my son coming over. He's going to help me do a couple things. I don't know. Something is seriously wrong with this. I don't get it. It's like the screen goes a black bar across it, and I lose my clock. I lose the camera, and it's almost like I want to click over here that you guys can't see. It's imaginary land over here. Click on it, but then it opens up everything out, and I don't want to do that yet. I don't want to do it. You know why? Because I really, and it's not that I don't want to have a conversation with you guys because that's not it. It's just yet not the time. The Lord said there will come a time. You know, I think back and I was like, all the time that I hadn't Zoom, and I set all these meetings up and all this stuff, and then I get the messages. Well, I was going to, but I wasn't ready, and I wasn't this. I mean, I understand it. I mean, I understand nerves. I understand that not everybody can come on here because let's face it, somebody runs across it and you're at work or something, they're going, wow, I never knew that you believed that way. Or then people distance themselves from you or walk away from you. I tell you what, I don't care. Let the dead bury the dead. Getting back to my daughter, and then I'm going to wrap up on this. So people are saying, that's your daughter. You should still do it. You should still walk her down the aisle. And okay, I understand that. But, she just graduated out of some kind of nursing thing. I don't even know. I think she's an LPN now or something. I don't even really know. You know why I don't really know? Because I can't believe everything she says. And I know she does because she posts all this stuff. And she's pregnant again. And she says, then I hear stuff like this. Dad, I am busy. I work 40 hours a week, which she hasn't even started yet. Which, that was a lie. And then she's telling me all this stuff. I don't have time in this and that. Girl, I work 70 hours in 5 days. Tell me I'm not exhausted. Tell me I'm not tired. And I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. But I'm saying 70 hours in 5 days is a lot. Then you look at the time that I had both her and her brother living with me by myself. You go off of that fact. Okay. I left the house at 3 o'clock in the morning to get to work by 4 o'clock. I did 8 hours in one job, and I stayed in the same building and did 5 hours after that. So I clocked out at 10, drove home, took a shower, and you guessed it, 3-4 hours, I'm right back up. I mean, it's ridiculous. How are you going to sit there? And I was always on call. I was on call for the training process, the maintenance part of it, or the laundry and housekeeping. If somebody called off, I had to go there. I didn't get paid for that. So how are you going to tell me that time, what you have time to do or don't do? So I find that a little just a cop-out, because if you truly love me, then you'd be over here. She truly goes to a church right down the road here, she says, but you can't even stop and say, hey, Dad, let me mow your lawn. Or, hey, Dad, let me make you something to eat. Or, hey, Dad, let me help you do something. Just let me sit and talk with you, Dad. Because I guarantee it, that random hand that's reaching for the door, they're going to be the first ones over here crying and carrying on. For what? So does it fall under the same category of let the dead bury the dead? I don't know her. I really don't know her anymore. She's not the daughter that I raised, and she's not the daughter that I taught better than this. She's acting exactly the opposite. So I'm supposed to walk down into a church. The same church, the pastor, I just found out, I found out a while ago, it's the same pastor that I had a conversation with Tuesday. That I needed credibility. Otherwise, he's going to have to watch me and dude, I don't need you. I don't need your church. I don't need it. I don't need anybody's church. Why? Because I got a whole church right outside his windows. A whole church. Is it wrong that I don't do it? Am I going to be made fun of? Am I going to be called names? If I go there, they're going to say stuff about me. Do you see how he was walking? Do you see how he was limping? I mean, no matter what I do. When in my mind, it's all about money. She's lied to me about the cake. She's lied to me about the dress. I know what you're going to say. Nelson, you got to pray. You're preaching to the choir, my friends. I just don't feel like I should. Isn't that a sin if I do something that I'm not joyful, I'm not wanting to do? Isn't that a sin? Well, you might be able to, no, I can't turn it around. Because the same people that claim to be going to church, I see at the graduation, they're wearing a Tupac shirt, and I'm going, you got to be kidding me. It's like praising God and smoking dope at the same time. Well, that's kind of racist because you said Tupac. No, I'm just saying. Okay, It's like praising God and worshiping Willie Nelson. He's white, so I can't be called a racist there. I don't care if you're white, purple, pink, black, or whatever. Stupid is stupid. Let's just call it what it is. Sin, evil, monsters, demons. I have no problems calling it out. I have no problems speaking what we all should be speaking. What we all should be coming against. What did Jesus say? This is where I'm feeling. I know I got till October to make a decision. I don't even got that long because if I'm not going to do it, I got to let her know. And she's not going to talk to me. She don't talk to me now. She talks to me right around her birthday. I hear from her right before Christmas. I mean, her birthday last year, she sent me a message. Dad, just give me money for my birthday. I said, well, I didn't know that I was giving you anything for your birthday. I said, hey, you didn't even wish me a happy birthday on mine. I mean, it's not you do for me, I do for you. But I mean, all of a sudden, you want to reach into my life because it's your birthday and you want me to give you money? Is there a price that I should be having in mind? Why don't you tell me how much that I'm supposed to put in this envelope, too, while we're at it? Am I supposed to be the bigger person? Yes. Am I supposed to forgive? Yes, I do. Am I supposed to pray? Yes, I do. Is this how somebody can come against me and go, this is the man you want to follow after that's going to lead a ministry, and this is what he's going to do? Yes, I would say yes. You know why? Because I'm going to teach you how to overcome it. I'm also going to teach you what the Bible says. Let the dead bury the dead. Be gone from me. I do not know you. Who is my mother and who is my brother? Thou who does the will of my Father. These are not my children. Because what Jesus says, if this was my kingdom, I would have thousands of angels, thousands of legions, or whatever he said, something like that, that would come to his rescue. Notice he said, angels come to his rescue. What about his disciples? Peter tried to cut off the ear, or was it just the fact of showing Jesus? Because you got to really think about, you're going to deny me 3 times theory. Wow. I will die with you, Lord. Oh, we found out that wasn't true. Are you willing to pick up a cross and help somebody walk daily? Are you? Are you willing to put yourself last to be called first? Are you doing everything because you want praise? Are you doing things, praise and glorify Jesus, to allow that gifts to be poured out to you? Are you doing it strictly for the gifts? You tell me. And I'm going to tell you to make it right with Jesus. If there's any wrongs in there, if you can put yes, yes, yes to the things I just said, you got some problems. We all got problems. We all fall short somewhere. Let's try to get that to where we don't. Accountability, what is that? Help somebody carry the cross when they need it. Now, I do appreciate all the support and the reach out over the years. I do appreciate that the help people tried to give me, and stuff for blood pressure, stuff for whatever. It doesn't go unthanks. I'm very appreciated person. I'm very thankful for, and I'm not a person of gifts, people. I remember when uh, I forget her name. I think it was Emily that talked to her son for a little bit. He was against Christ and all this and having problems and uh, whatever. But then I started talking to her, and the more I got to talk to her, it was all about changing the channel and changing this. And I didn't want to lose control over the freedom of this. I didn't want it to become like a podcast that seems rehearsed. And I couldn't get a definite yes or no, that's not going to happen. So I just said, I'm not interested. I'm not. Sometimes I wish I wouldn't have, because I would have had better ways to be able to put this in a different way. But then I think, no, this is exactly what God wants. This is exactly how he wants it. He wants to see how people are going to be. And I believe there's a lot of judgmental people out there, and I think they're still out there. I think that it's not going to end. I kept saying that Satan's trying to stop me from doing something. It's up to us to figure out what is that something that he's trying to pull you away from. I'm a character that you you get to know somebody real quick. How well that somebody gives up on something or falls down and walks away. If you fall down, or they're going to stop and help you stand up. Or when that guy says, "Listen, I'll help you carry this cross, but I don't want a part of this." Jesus, I would believe, say, you are forgiven. But you look at the act; he got forced against it. When you're being forced to do something you don't want to do, how's God going to hold you accountable for it? If you have no choice, no way to get out of it, these people that get sold into prostitution, you think they really want to sit there and do that? You really think they want to stand on a street corner and make all this money and give it away to a man that's their pimp? Satan, you're nothing but a pimp. That's all you are. Good luck. You keep going down dark alleys, and eventually there's no coming back. And that's the truth. Believe me or you don't. One day this world is going to end. What we know as Earth will not be here. These skyscrapers, the pretty views that we see, it's going to be so full of glory and beauty. We're not going to have time to ever think about this world again. You're not going to think about loved ones, friends, family, exes. You're not going to have time to think about crushes. You're not going to have time to think about your high school sweethearts or whatever you missed out in life. You're not going to have time to think about any of that. You're not going to have time to say, "Oh, I miss my grandma. I miss Sally. I miss Jesse, Raphael, Michelangelo, and Leonardo." You're not going to have time to think about any of that. You know why? Because it doesn't exist. You may have a family member in heaven, but you're not going to know them as your grandma or your Gima or your mama or your pa y'all or whatever the heck. I mean, it's like whatever you want to call them, call them. I'm not making fun of you. I just think it's whatever. Who am I? You know, Darlene's granddaughter calls her Gaga. Matter of fact, we was driving down the road one day and a Queen song come on that Radio Gaga, and she thought the song was about her. I couldn't stop. I still laugh about it because it's like the mind like child is what God wants us to be. That's what's amazing about it. So I'm going to finish off in prayer. Heavenly Father, Father, I just ask that the people come today, whoever did show up, if anybody, I won't know until I go on and look at the end cap of this as soon as I log off, and uh, it doesn't show names; it just shows how many. Even if one came and they stayed the whole duration, peace be with them today. Help them today. Help them be on more fire today. If they're going through any troubles, Lord, let them come in that secret time with you and confess it and lay it at your feet. Lord, this channel is yours and it's always going to be yours. Let everything be done to glorify you and to glorify the Father. And Father, let me glorify you, which glorifies your Son. Let me ask for you both to examine my temple, inside and out. Wash me clean. Wash anything out of me that is no good and take it from me. Let me speak the words you've given me to speak, and let me speak nothing at all. Let me do the actions you have given me to do, whether I understand it or don't remember to do, but let it be done to glorify you in the Father, not of man. I have no opinion of what man thinks, nor do I care what man thinks. It's a dead end. Oh, hold on. I got all kinds of glasses. I just gotta find them. What the heck's going on there? Huh. Um, wow. Let me let me do this before I wrap up then. Well, maybe it's God that tests my spirit to see how I'm going to handle it, but here's my best advice for this question. First of all, I mean this out of love. I truly mean this out of love. Okay. And obviously, you know I'm going to give you the best advice I can give you, and I'm going to give you the best godly counsel I can give you. There's two sides to everything. I know your side. I know what you just sent, and I have to look at both sides. But I do say this: anger is not the way. Anger is the pathway and the door opening to Satan. Drinking does not solve that problem. Okay, you hear me? Going out last night with your friends because you got in an argument that day before you left to work does not justify what you did. You are the leader of that house. You're setting an example for your children to say, well, mommy and daddy just got in a fight and daddy didn't come home. Now you just opened another door, whether you did or not. Because what if you might have been helping a girl into a car that had too much to drink or whatever, and you're seen by somebody that knows the both of you? Maybe you leaned over to put the seatbelt on. Nobody can see your face. You see where I'm going with this? You just opened a Pandora's box, my friend, that you should have never got into. Ever, 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 ever. If it wasn't for the argument's sake, and this is your personality, this is what you do, and your wife knows this, I would say, okay, by all means, don't stop. But it's the fact you got in an argument and she texted you that many times and you never replied, and you seen them, you even seen them and didn't reply. You just put yourself on a firing block, if you ask me. Are you ready? Are you just fed up? I mean, you got to fill in some of these blanks for me. Are you ready to be fed up with life? Are you fed up with being married? Are you fed up with your children and having that responsibility? Because I know in some of the past videos and things that you emailed and stuff, even there, that it was you just felt trapped all the time. You felt not appreciated. Well, you also stopped going to church. You also stopped reading. You're also following Satan's pathway to hell, and that put yourself back on. You know that highway really comes to an end. I personally think if you're not home, I think you should go home. I think you should go home, sit down with your wife, sit down with your children, and explain to your children what happened. It's not how a husband and a wife should act towards each other. A mommy and a daddy should talk to each other. It's not. This is not acceptable, because if you got little girls at home that's going to grow up, she's going to grow up the guys watching you, buddy. You're going to set that bar for who she goes after. She's going to think it's okay if some guy knocks her across the living room wall, and be like, well, no, I don't do that to my wife. I don't do that to my kid's mother. Not yet. You keep on down this pathway and you will. This is what your daughter's going to think, and they're going to think it's okay to be treated like that because you set the bar. See, whether you realize it or not, you're that love model. They're the ones that they're going to mold their relationships around. How you treat their mom. How they come after that love and that affection, that daddy hug, putting him in bed at night, tucking him in real nice and tight, read him a bedtime story, sit there when they're sick, hold that puke bucket, open the car door. That's what they want to see. That's what they need to see. They need to hear you pray at that table. They need to hear you pray over them at night. I'm just telling you, that's it. You need to go and eat your humble pie, my friend. I don't blame. I don't know what the fight was about. You didn't really do that, but I'm not saying it's she's innocent, but I'm saying you just took 65% of this pie. In my book, the non-communications where you messed up. You could have said, listen, I don't want to come home tonight. I don't want to fight with you. You know, I went out with the guys and I stayed over at Jeremy's house and Paul went over there and we got some food and we all just hung out before you know it. It was late and I wasn't going to drive because I was drinking. I'm sure she would rather know you're okay than not know. You opened the Pandora box not knowing. You got to go fix it, my friend. Brother, I love you, man. I do. Don't really know you, but I love you. I want you to go to church tomorrow with your family. I really do. I want you to go up to that altar and I want you to give it to God. Not that you have to give it to God in front of anybody, anything like that or anything like that, but take your family with you and go down there. And I just want you all just to surrender and ask God in the secret place with Him. You don't have to speak it out loud. Grab a hold of your wife's hand and just hold her. Lift it up to Him. Lord, I pray right now, I pray your blood be over him. I pray your blood be over his wife, and I pray over them children. I pray, Lord, if the father tarries in this month coming up, it's not the time that we're being called home, then I'm thanking you from my heart that there's still time to turn a lot of this around. There's still time to go in there, Lord, but you went in there and stole them keys out of hell to give us another opportunity to receive the kingdom. Lord, I believe that these things are possible still, and I believe, Lord, we still need a little bit more time. I still believe we need that more time, Lord. Father, I pray and I ask, I know people are ready to go home. Father, if they can't take it, to take them. But let us not give up on the time that we have, that we can save these souls. I know it's coming dark, and I know these things are happening, and I know things are crumbling all the way around everybody. But I tell you what, the foundation that I stand on with you, and under you, and the authority over me is your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, my King, my Savior, my Shepherd, and my dearest friend, that I love and adore. And I'm thankful, Lord, that I can come to you and lay everything at your feet. I'm thankful, Lord, that you hear my cries. I'm thankful, Lord, when I ask, Lord, do you have time for me? Yes, my son, I have time for you today. This second. How much time do I get? As much as you need. As much as you need. He will never forsake us. He's always there. And he loves us. It's up to you what you do with it. I pray this over you guys today too. Whoever watched, whoever's still here, if there's anybody even still on, I don't know. May God open your sight and your hearing today. For that being said, let me see if I can forward out of this thing here. Close that out. I don't know. That obviously didn't work. I don't even know if the screen goes black on your guys' end, but everything goes black on my end. I don't know. But anyways, God bless you guys. Love you. Always. Till the next one.